Hello there, people. Welcome to my second part, the second series of the my React optimization. So last time we've talked about using the some libraries out there that provides lazy components or providing a lazy loading to your resources, in particular with the images and the gallery. We made use of a component or a module that is publicly available called React Image Lazy, which is, of course, it played a tremendous part into optimizing our the overall experience for our application, which is good. This time we are going to discuss about wasted renders in a React component. So what I have here as an example to actually demonstrate what we're going to be talking about is a punch card on which, say for example, this is something that you present maybe on your favorite coffee shop, or Starbucks, or Rock Coffee, or something that you taking a liking to. But the main gist of this application is that every time you visit your shop, you punch the card. I know this can be done electronically. Then you punch every time you visit again. You punch the card. You ask the cashier, punch the card, punch the card, punch the card, and so on and so forth. So it's a never-ending process of punching the card, and what this basically does is just it applies like a Unicode punching a Unicode that actually displays, it displays a list of Unicode based on the amount of time that you actually punch the card. So that's basically what the application is. But this is a perfect way to actually demonstrate how wasted re-renders are present on the content application. So when I click the punch card, you can actually see here that if you saw that there was a glimpse of outline, a green outline. I'm gonna do it again. See, there's an outline, and each, what a better way to demonstrate this is to actually print screen, right? So print screen, and then we go ahead to our MS Paint, and then you can actually see here that this line right here, the green one, let's focus on the outside first, right? So the outside, that represents this, the outside green outline, it represents the main component, like the main component, right? So this is our main component. So this is the actual component wherein it renders additional children which are inside. So the two boxes here, the another box, or the other outline which was listed here, is our description, right? This is the description component for the punch card. So let's label it here, description. And as you can see, every time I push the punch card button, it re-renders the whole component, right? It re-renders the whole card itself, the main card, and then it re-renders the description itself. And the reason why that's happening is because every time, let's head over to our code. Every time I was using useState here. Every time I'm changing the state of the application, it re-renders the punch card details, and it re-renders the parent component as well. And that is due because of this. I attach an update punch points handler or event handler for my button, which is the punch card, which, as you can see right here, and every time it updates the state of the current points that the card has, it will re-render, right? It will recycle, or it will re-render, and then it, in my own perspective, and in each and every React developer's perspective, this is a wasted re-render. So what can we do, like on our part, to actually improve this drastically, and avoid the pitfalls of re-rendering children and another children? So all we can do here is we can actually separate the component of this punch card and has its own state on a separate component. And so in that way, it won't re-render the whole card itself, including the description. So let's go ahead and do that. So in our main component right here, I'm going to delete the getter and setter for the use state as well as the function. I'm going to delete the render points for how many points that you have right now, and I'm going to delete the button as well. And luckily for us, in advance I created or separated I'm going to delete the styles here as well, so I don't, we won't have any errors or issues whatsoever. And gonna delete the punch hole area as well. So luckily for us, I already created the puncher component in advance, so that what we can do here is actually just render it here inside the parent. And then if we head over to the puncher component, which is now separated, it's the same thing as what we had previously in the main component. The only difference this time is that it has its own container, and by that very definition, it should not be able to somehow affect the other parent component and its sibling on the top level, because it has its own state in another container. So that's a good assurance that we won't be able, we won't be seeing additional re-renders like on the like what we had here previously. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh the project and see if it works. Let's see here, and watch for the outlines. So if I click the punch card button again, I should be able to see what we saw here previously, but the only difference this time is that the outline should only be limited to the punch card component. So if I click it right now, as you can see, if you notice, the outline only stays and is only present on the punch card component. So that's a good indication that this component itself is separated and is isolated. And I'm not saying that it has nothing to do with the parent and its children. It's just that the state itself won't cause additional re-renders, and that's what we're trying to somehow avoid, especially when we're making large scale applications. Say for example, you have an accounts component, and in each and every account there's going to be different transactions, there's going to be different details, and from there you can actually picture out, okay, what should I be doing here to actually optimize this. Well, one good way is like what we did here: separate the actions and separate the components for display, and in that way you won't cause additional re-renders. So this right here, this method, this is one good way to actually optimize your application a lot more further, by being able to somehow plan out what actions or what components are for display or for description only, what components are for that involves state management, and it's gonna update data dynamically. In that way you can figure out, okay, this is how it goes, this is where this component belongs to, this is where this component belongs to, and from there you can sort out, right, how you can effectively make your application much more viable when it comes to, or when it grows larger and larger and larger. So I hope you were able to learn something good here from our demo.